Today's incident will wake up your soul. Please watch the incident till the end, dear friends. Today I will tell you the story of a woman who turned into a dog in front of everyone. Asana does not know what sin the woman committed that led her to such a fate. Friends, there used to be a poor man in a certain place. He had no food to eat during Ramadan. One day his wife told him, "We are passing our Ramadan without fasting. But what about our children? They always stand eagerly behind the door, thinking that their father might have brought them something to eat." Hearing this, the man began to cry loudly and said, "Because of my unemployment, my children have suffered such a fate today." After saying this, the man left the house in sorrow. On the way it started raining. The intensity of the rain was very high. As the man was fasting on an empty stomach, his head turned. He felt that death had appeared before him. Just then a god came and took him unconscious. In no time the rain stopped and the sky cleared and the sun came out. Allah said to the man whose face was not visible, "Father, take a look." The man said in a proud voice, "What else will I see? He who has no income in his house, whose wife and children are starving, death is better for him." The man of God said, "Look, Father, you do not speak like an unbeliever. You are fasting, and surely you fasted for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. What is the purpose of worship if you do not have faith in the one whose mercy and blessings you are fasting? Fasting means putting your trust in Allah Ta'ala and surrendering yourself to His path. You must have faith that Allah will give me, and He will surely give me the best of all His treasures. He created the light of darkness." The poor man heard his words and said, "Father, who are you?" God said, "I cannot tell you that. You come with me. I am providing your livelihood." Then the man of God took the poor man with him into the forest. All the wood there was wet. The man of God told the poor man to cut the trees here. The poor man said, "All the trees here are wet, the woods are wet, so what will be cut?" The man with God said, "You cut wood. See you later." When the man started chopping wood, he finished his work very easily. After harvesting, the Almighty said to the poor man, "Now sell them in the market." The poor man went to the market and sold wood on the words of the man of God. He was quite surprised to see that everyone was buying his wood at a high price. He looked gratefully at the people of Allah and said, "Thank you very much, sir. You will go home and break the fast with us today." God Almighty said, "Not today. Some other day." Saying this, the man left from there. Then the poor man went back home after buying the necessary iftar material for his house. It was time for iftar. As they sat down for iftar, someone knocked at the door of the man's house. The man opened the door and saw a woman and a child standing in front of the door. Their clothes are very dirty. The woman said in a bitter voice, "Sir, give us something to eat. We have not eaten for 2 days." The man went in and said to his wife, "Is there anything left to feed them?" His wife said, "There is food, but the food you brought will fall short of the rest of our family, to say the least." Hearing this, the man went to the door to greet the mother and her child, and the standing child fainted. The man immediately brought water from inside and sprinkled it on his face. Then the man returned all the food he had brought to the child without further delay. On that day also the whole family broke their fast with only water. The wife was very angry with her husband. She went to her father's house with her children. Before leaving, he said, "I can't live with a mindless man like you." The man tried to convince his wife in different ways, repeatedly requested them to keep their trust in Allah Ta'ala, but his wife left with the children without hearing anything. That night the man cried like himself all night long. That night too he made the intention of fasting after breakfast with dates and water. Then in the morning he went to the forest to cut wood like the previous day. While cutting wood in the forest, he suddenly met the godly man again. As soon as she saw the man, she burst into tears. His throat became heavy as he cried. Allah consoled him and said, "All this is a test for you from Allah. Be patient. It will see that it will get the best reward in return." Then the man went to cut the wood and sell it again in the market. Everyone bought his wood today at a higher price than yesterday. After selling the wood, God and the poor man started moving towards the locality together. Reaching near the locality, the man of God said, "I have reached near your locality. Now you go back home, and never back down from your own Karmatha personality." Saying this, the old man left. The poor man thought that since his wife and children were not with him, he should still buy some food. When he bought the food as per his thought and went towards the house, He saw that helpless mother and her child sitting in front of the door of the house even today. He understood why they were waiting for him. He immediately gave them the food he had with him. The child and the mother raised their hands and prayed for him. Even today the poor man broke his fast with only dates and water. Thus, almost every day when the man fed the poor mother and her child, he felt peace in himself. The man was entering his house after the Maghrib prayer, after breaking the fast, when suddenly a messenger was sent and said, "An old man is waiting for you." Since the poor man was alone at home, he went to meet Allah's wali to relieve his loneliness. The old man was reciting the Quran. The poor man then sat beside him and listened to the recitation of the Quran. Allah stopped the recitation of the Holy Quran and looked at the poor man and said, "The trouble that has befallen you is only a test of your patience. Always pray to Allah, because Allah never returns his servant empty-handed." The old man was explaining to him, but the poor man wanted to say how long he hadn't eaten. At that time, a man appeared there with a huge deck. The old man said, "You're only thinking, and look how good Allah has provided you with food. Thus you focus only on your halal earnings and put your trust in Allah Ta'ala. Your life will become easier." The man ate that food and was returning home after offering Tasbih and Isha prayers. Walking along the road, it suddenly occurred to him that there was nothing to eat at night. Then he thought to himself that the one who created him, the owner of the sustenance of his entire life, would surely make an arrangement. How he returned home safely. As he neared the house, he suddenly noticed a bag lying in front of his door. He thought to himself that someone must have left it, but when he went to the bag, he saw that it was written, "This is for you." The poor man took the bag into the house and opened the bag to find that it contained all the food he liked. From then on, his team started changing slowly. Almost every day someone leaves such a bag in front of his house, where his iftar and sehri food is arranged. The man wanted his wife and children to come back to him, but his wife did not want to live with him. She was always angry with him and said, "I don't want to live with a poorer karma like you anymore." The woman was disgusted with the man. She always insisted on divorce from him. A rich man lived near the woman's father's house. He lured the woman and told her, "Leave your husband and marry me. I will give you half the happiness of the world." The woman was very beautiful, and the man had dirty thoughts about her. Since the woman's weakness was in money, she weakened her by showing greed for money. He kept the woman in his huge house. The man says to the woman, "You don't know anyone. You are in my house now. Either way, you get a divorce from your Akama husband. Then I will make you my queen." The woman's children themselves did not know where their mother had kept them. They were just happy to think that they could eat 3 full meals. But whenever they mentioned their father, their mother silenced them with threats. One day the woman went to the poor man's door and said, "What is your problem? Why don't you divorce me?" The poor man said, "There must be a reason for divorce." The woman said, "There must be a valid reason for divorce. You can't control me, can't feed my children." The man said, "I will fulfill all your needs from now on. Why did you just take my children away from me? You come back with them again." The woman laughed sarcastically and said, "I know what you mean. You cannot feed your own children, but give all the food you earn to another's child. Now please divorce me, that's my happiness." Even after persuading the poor man 1,000 times, his wife would not listen to him. The poor man found no other option and went to tell Allah. After narrating the whole incident to the old man, he burst into tears. But the old man knew all along that his wife was cheating on him. Although she is married, she lives with her children in a house with another man, but he did not tell this to the poor man. Guzbur told the man to be patient again on the poor occasion, and he went out in search of the woman to the mahalla of the women's father's house. It was sehri time. The old man stood in front of the woman's present luxurious home and knocked on the door. Then the woman's new boyfriend came to the door and asked, "What do you want?" The old man said, "Give me something to eat." The rich man was very miserly. He said, "Nothing will happen now, get out of here." Then Allah the Almighty said again, "Father, give me something to eat for the sake of Allah. I have been starving for days." The woman was cooking inside. It was angry to hear the words uttered without understanding. He shouted from there, "Who is doing such kede at the door? I can't stand people who are always hungry. This one word ruined my life." Then she sarcastically said to Allah, "If you like to eat so much, then go and sit in front of my husband's house. He likes to feed these people. I don't like poor people, and fakir miskin at all. My husband would not feed my children because of them. He used to distribute children's food among the poor. All the noise. Then the woman convinced her lover with a wink to knock Allah out. Will the rich man go to lay his hand on him? Then God said, Wait, who are you to push me out of the neck? Then said to the woman, Is he your husband? Now the woman fainted a little. The woman's boyfriend got angry and said, Who are you two penny beggars to question our personal lives? I'm a husband or not, who are you to ask? Don't stand here and eat our heads. It is time for sehri, we have to do sehri, which share from here? Now Allah Wa'ala got angry and said, You are unmarried but living together under the same roof. So what are you fasting again? Why are you talking so loud, even with Nanda Haram in the holy month of Ramadan? Hearing this, the greedy woman came and said, Yes, he is not my husband, but she loves me no less than her husband. He kept me in good enough shape. If my husband was with me, I would not have had a single corner of this happiness. He couldn't even feed my children, much less feed me. Soon I will marry this man. All the people of the area came and gathered in front of their uncle's house. The woman's rich boyfriend was much more wealthy, so no one in the area dared to speak on her face. The rich man storms everyone in the area, and this elder is trying to honor them. But everyone just stood up and saw the joke. No one even said anything, nor did the protest. At that time, the poor man came to his wife's mahalla. He thought he would meet his wife for the last time, but seeing the crowds on the way, the crowd was pushed inside and saw the goddess and his wife. He came forward and said, What happened? What's so crowded here? Then his wife looked at it and said, What are you doing here? His wife turned his face and said, I am here, and I will marry him who can see this guy. He kept me in good condition. If you are with him, my children will never be lacking. This is what I wish for a foolish and foolish husband like you. You go and eat those beggars. The woman was saying these words, but with her answers and the voice of the human being did not change it, but it sounded like a dog. Everyone in the present, even the rich man, was scared to see that the woman had become a dog. Seeing the wife change in front of her eyes in such a way, the poor husband shouted, and the elderly looked at the man helplessly. Then the elderly man said, Look, I did not give your wife a curse. This is the result of his period. The reward is written more than 5 times more reward for virtue during the month of Ramadan. She has hurt her married husband with every word he has come out of his mouth, and has been under the same roof with a non-maharam for so long, despite being married. That is, it has indirectly established the relationship of zina. What could be more sinful in this Ramadan? That is why Allah has made him the reward of his deeds as a dog. The poor husband cried, But I could not see her in such a situation. She's my wife. The elderly man said, We have to accept a lot. Your wife never deserved forgiveness, and she never repented to Allah. So God has made him a dog without giving him any chance. Now you take your children and leave, waiting for you a good reward. By this time the children of the man came out and ran to him and ran to him. The man took his children with his heart and took the children to his house. Immediately after arriving home, he again saw the woman and her child. But today it doesn't seem like a beggar to see them anymore. The silk clothing that is embedded on her looks like she is the Shahzadi of a large palace. When he approached the woman said, I've been waiting for you for so long, and today I came to you with our true identity. The poor man did not understand anything of him. The woman said, I am a widow of a wealthy businessman in the region. When my husband died, these shots were given to you. You are the original entitled to it, but I did not know you then. So I learned from him, what if I saw you, can I recognize it through the target? Then my husband said, There is a man in this area who can never send the poor to the poor, even if he cannot eat himself. He spends most of his earnings on the satisfaction of Allah Ta'ala. I've been looking for a man for a long time, but then when I met you, I would come here in disguise with my child for the identity of your honesty and kindness. And that day, when my child fell unconscious and you gave my child with all your pieces, I understood that you were the person whom my husband said. From then on, I also sent the food you found in front of your house every day from my palace. Today, I am here to inform us the true identity of the two of us. The old man was standing with the poor man. He said, If your wife had received these blessings from God for so long and thanked, then today would not be the case. A virtuous wife can guide children in the path of virtue. But unfortunately, your wife was greedy, now that your children need a good mother too. So if you have the time, I can give you a deed with this widow." The poor man really had nothing to say. When he saw the wife in such a way, she was mentally disturbed and her children needed a good mother. So he agreed to the man's proposal without interruption. Then Allah widow the widow of the widow from the witness. From then on, the man began to spend his life in peace with a rich Elysian palace with his children. So guys, this was today's video. Hope you liked the video and subscribe to this channel. If you have any opinion about the video, be sure to tell in the comment box.